They built a system not to uplift you, but to contain you. From the moment you're born, you're handed a script. Go to school. Get good grades. Don't ask too many questions. Follow the rules. Stay in line. You're not taught to think. You're taught to obey. To be manageable, predictable, and broke. Not by accident, but by design. Because a population that's broke is a population that's easy to control. When you're struggling to pay bills, when your mind is consumed by survival, you don't have the capacity to dream, to resist, to build power. They don't want you rich because money is power, and they don't want power in your hands. So they feed you illusions, flashy distractions, celebrities, sports, drama. So you forget that you were born to be free, born to build, born to lead. Instead, they give you debt, loans disguised as help, credit cards handed out like candy, promises of a better tomorrow if you just keep grinding today. But the truth is, they never planned on letting you win. The school system? It's not broken. It's working exactly how it was intended. Designed in the industrial age to produce obedient workers, not thinkers, not leaders, not creators. You were taught how to memorize, not how to question, how to repeat, not how to innovate. You learned about kings and wars, but nothing about money, nothing about taxes, nothing about how to build wealth. Ask yourself why. Because if you knew how money works, you'd realize the game is rigged. You'd stop being a pawn. You'd stop selling your time for scraps. You'd start building systems, assets, freedom. And they can't have that. Because one man with knowledge is a threat. 10 are a revolution. So they sell you a lie, that rich people are greedy, that money is evil, that wanting more makes you a bad person. But that's not the truth. The truth is, money just amplifies who you already are. If you're kind, money lets you help more people. If you're ambitious, money lets you create more impact. And if you're dangerous to their system, money makes you unstoppable. They keep you chasing titles, job positions, pieces of paper that say you're qualified. But the richest people in the world, most of them don't even have degrees. What they have is understanding, of value, of leverage, of people. And they learned it outside the system. They took control of their own education, their own path, their own power. Meanwhile, you were taught to play it safe. Get a job. Keep your head down. Work 40 years and maybe, if you're lucky, retire with a pension that barely covers groceries. That's not a life. That's a slow death. A trap disguised as security. A cage with invisible bars. And every time you try to break free, start a business, invest, take a risk, they hit you with fear. What if you fail? What if you lose everything? What if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if that business changes your family's future forever? What if that risk is your only shot at real freedom? You see, they don't want you asking those questions. They want you obedient, tired, distracted, because then you're easier to manage. You won't protest. You won't rise. You'll keep scrolling, keep buying, keep sleeping. But deep down, something in you knows this isn't right, that you were meant for more, that this system wasn't built for your success, it was built for your submission. The media tells you success is luck, that rich people just got lucky. But the truth is, success leaves clues, habits, mindsets, systems, and none of them are taught in schools. Why? Because if everyone knew the formula, the whole game would collapse. The top 1% would lose their grip, their monopoly, and they're not about to let that happen without a fight. So they keep you working for money instead of learning how to make money work for you. They tell you saving is the key while printing trillions and inflating your savings into dust. They promote jobs over ownership, consumption over creation, dependence over independence. But here's the truth, they're scared of what happens when you wake up. Because once you see the game for what it is, you start playing differently. You stop waiting for permission. You stop looking for approval. You stop being a follower and start becoming a force. And that terrifies them. Because power in your hands is a direct threat to their control. They've conditioned you to believe that wealth is reserved for the chosen few. They fill your mind with fairy tales of hard work alone being the path to riches, while they themselves inherit power, manipulate systems, and move money with strategy, not sweat. From the moment you enter the education system, you're taught obedience, not ownership. You're trained to be a worker, not a creator. And when you try to break free, when you start asking questions, they label you rebellious, unrealistic, even dangerous. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. You're not poor because you're lazy. You're poor because you were programmed to think like the poor. Every rule you follow, every path they laid out for you, it was never designed to make you rich. It was built to keep you in line. Look around. Who actually gets rich working 9 to 5? Who builds generational wealth by trading hours for pennies? The answer is clear: almost no one. But they keep you distracted. They feed you entertainment, fake success stories, and social validation so you stay asleep. Meanwhile, real wealth is transferred silently, through assets, through control, through ownership of what you can't see, data, infrastructure, and your attention. You think you're choosing, but they've already limited your options. And the illusion of freedom keeps you pacified. Why don't they teach money in school? Why don't they teach negotiation, investing, or critical thinking? Because an obedient population is profitable. Because if you knew how to generate wealth independently, you wouldn't need them. You wouldn't bow to their systems. You wouldn't sell your soul for security. The real reason they don't want you rich is control. A man with money doesn't beg. A man with options can walk away. And a man with power can't be manipulated. They fear that. That's why they mock financial freedom. That's why they push debt, consumerism, and dependence. They want you buying liabilities and calling them assets. They want you living paycheck to paycheck so you never question who's really benefiting. You think your salary is your reward, but it's your leash. You think your job title gives you identity, but it's your cage. The moment you stop chasing promotions and start building leverage is the moment you step into power. But to do that, you need to deprogram everything they've taught you. Wealth isn't about saving, it's about scaling. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart and owning systems. Money isn't the goal, freedom is. But they've made you forget that. They've made you fear freedom. They've tied your self-worth to your productivity and kept you addicted to approval. They've sold you comfort while stealing your ambition. And now you're wondering why life feels empty. Because deep down your soul knows the truth. You weren't born to obey. You were born to lead, to create, to rise. But the world has convinced you otherwise. It's time to wake up from the matrix. Time to question the script. The rich don't follow the rules, they write them. And if you want to play their game, you need to learn their moves. You need to stop consuming and start creating. Stop waiting and start building. Because the door to wealth isn't locked, it's hidden. Hidden behind lies, fear, and your own limiting beliefs. They told you break that down so you never chase it. They told you ambition is greed so you'd never rise. They fed you lies wrapped in morality to keep you in chains. But behind closed doors, they're accumulating power, building legacies, and pulling the strings of the world's economies while you struggle to pay bills. They pretend to care about fairness, equality, and justice, but everything around you is designed to concentrate wealth in the hands of a few. Why do you think the rich get richer during every crisis? Why do you think major institutions crash and instead of punishment they receive bailouts? Because they own the game. And you're not even a player. They've made you a pawn. But here's the real secret. Pawns can become kings. If they wake up. If they see beyond the surface. If they stop playing nice and start playing smart. You don't need their approval to become wealthy. You need strategy. You need discipline. You need to unlearn what they've taught and relearn what they've hidden. Start by controlling your attention, your time, your focus. Because every second you waste scrolling, comparing, doubting, that's stolen wealth. Mental poverty always precedes financial poverty. And that's how they trap you. Not with walls or guns, but with beliefs. They teach you to fear risk, to worship safety, to sacrifice your dreams for a paycheck. They laugh at the idea of freedom while selling you golden cages. You sit there thinking you're responsible for your failure. You're not. You were never shown the map. You were given a blindfold and told to run. And when you fell, they said, "You see, you're not meant for more." But let me tell you, every empire you admire, every mogul you respect, they didn't follow the path. They created one. They didn't beg for permission. They took control. And so can you. The tools are in your hands. The internet leveled the playing field. But most are still playing the old game: school, degree, job, retirement. That formula is outdated. The economy has evolved, but your mindset hasn't. You're still seeking validation instead of value. Still trying to fit in when you were born to stand out. Wealth is no longer just about money. It's about knowledge, presence, influence, ownership. And all of it starts with breaking the spell. Stop trusting the media that thrives on fear. Stop idolizing celebrities who are puppets. Stop believing that working harder is the answer. Start thinking in terms of assets, automation, and impact. Learn skills that multiply. Build things that scale. Focus on problems that matter. And above all, protect your mind like it's your greatest asset, because it is. The ones who control the narrative control your life. Change the narrative and you take your power back. This isn't just about getting rich. This is about freedom. About rewriting your destiny. About making sure your children don't inherit your chains. They don't want you rich because a rich man is dangerous to the system. He can't be silenced. He can't be bought. He can't be controlled. They built this machine to keep you tired, broke, and distracted. But now you know. Now the illusion is shattered. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. So what will you do? Go back to sleep? Or rise? Will you stay loyal to their lies, or will you finally choose yourself? Remember, they never had the power. You gave it to them. Take it back. Build your own system. Play your own game. And this time, play to win.